What's up, guys? Welcome back to Consider the Ravens, episode number 18. We're back again with the cross. This might be like a more permanent setting just because this room is almost always available.
Yeah.
We got Mr. the Jaron Potter with us today. He's the I was talking about him in the last podcast. I was saying that you were all of our close friends, or one of our close friends,
Right.
and that you were talking about something, and then we talked about Emily and what she taught us in college.
Yeah.
But yeah,
You'd probably get a lot more useful stuff from Emily than you did from me. But yeah.
wow. So Jaron, I want to know, the people want to know, where you're from, kind of what brought you to Daystar, or into ministry in
Yeah.
general, and maybe your testimony. You give as
Yeah,
much information as
absolutely.
you feel comfortable.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you letting me come on. This is exciting. I've watched not every episode, but a lot of them. So this is really cool. I'm going to be watching myself now, which is fun. But yeah, so me and my family came to Daystar when I was 5 years old. We used to live in a little town called Noonan, which was just outside of Atlanta, about 20 minutes outside of Atlanta,
Wow.
and 20 minutes from Six Flags. So that was fun.
That's sick.
We spent a lot of time at Six Flags. That's like the only memories I have of Georgia. But so Uncle Jerry, Pastor Jerry, is of course my uncle. He's my mother's brother, and my dad has always been in ministry. I don't know how long, but for a very long time he's been in ministry. I think maybe out of college. I know he went to college for ministry, so always been in ministry. But him and Uncle Jerry went separate paths for a while. They knew each other, obviously when they were a bit younger, but went separate paths. One day, my dad's pastoring in Georgia, gets a phone call from Uncle Jerry and says like, "Hey, I really feel like God's calling you to come to Daystar." And I think it was a while before it actually happened, but eventually it did happen, and Dad came, and he didn't have a position. I don't think he was just kind of whatever was needed to be done, he would
Yeah.
do it, and that's kind of the gifting of my dad, the Swiss Army knife of pastors.
Yeah.
He's he's had just about every pastoral role on this team at his time at Daystar. But anyways, we were 5 years old. That happened. I was 5 years old. I had an older brother. He was about 7 or 8 at that time. Moved to Daystar. So we've been at Daystar for, what is that, almost 20 years now, 19 years or something
Yeah.
like that. And so we've never really, I don't have memories of another church. It's always been Daystar. And now that I'm in ministry, I used to think of that as kind of a disadvantage, because I know a lot of people who have been to different churches, and they have experienced other places, and they know how things are done differently, and there's a lot of truth to that. But I think I have a huge advantage that some of those guys are missing. I've been at the exact same church for 20 years with the same people, growing around a faith community that knows me, loves me, cares for me, saw me grow up. And the Bible talks about how a minister is effective everywhere except in their hometown. And that always threw me off, because I was like, how's that the case when these are your people, but I understand the difficulty of it. I'm not going to lie. Like, being a minister in your hometown is hard, like being in ministry in Coleman, the place where, you went to school, you acted like an idiot. You had parents or teachers calling your parents because you were being disrespectful. Like, that really happened to me.
Yeah.
That's difficult, but there's also just a piece to being with your family, being with your friends. And so I've been lucky to be here for so long, and me and Emily don't have plans on leaving, but of course we're open to whatever God wants us to do.
Right.
But so anyways, we've been here for a while. When I was in high school, probably about I think I might have been in middle school, freshman year, 8th grade, something along that. I can't really remember, but I was in a student service here, And this is when we had students up in what's now our office
Yeah.
building, but or office space. Pastor Derek was the student pastor at the time, and I'd always call myself a Christian. I think a lot of people who grew up in church would call themselves a Christian,
Yeah.
but to me, and it was just in a random service. I just really felt the weight of the Holy Spirit, and I remember telling myself, if this is real, if this is genuine, if Jesus really died on a cross for our sins and really rose again, and if it's only by that that I'm saved, why would I do anything else with my life?
Mm-hmm.
What else in the world is as important as that? And so that's what I did. I decided in that moment that nothing else was going to be as satisfactory to me than ministry.
Mm-hmm.
And I went on a path at the beginning to be a teacher. I was going to be a teacher and a pastor, but realized quickly that I didn't enjoy school if it wasn't about the Bible.
Yeah.
If it wasn't. So I quit that and decided to just get a ministry degree,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm glad that I did that. And so as soon as I graduated, this is so rare and so, I want to say lucky, but I just have to imagine that God set that up.
Yeah.
But it's rare to be given an opportunity very early
Mm-hmm.
in your age in ministry. But that's what I was given with Pastor Derek and Pastor Nikki. They gave me the opportunity right out of high school to come on as a pastoral assistant. That was the position. And essentially what it was just like, you're just in training, like that's all it was,
Yeah.
but they were super just pastoral to me and gave me so much more opportunity than what they should have given me maybe.
Yeah.
But I was very, very lucky to have leaders like that in my life. And I just think back on it now, and I think about all the stupid ideas that I had as a 17, 18-year-old. I think I graduated when I was 17. So 17-year-old with all these dumb ideas, and he's just like, yes, let's do it, because that's the person that he is. And now
Yeah.
he's probably taking the bullets for it in staff meetings when they're like, what the heck was that? And he's like, well, it was me, but anyways, like, that's really where I cut my teeth in ministry, was just sitting under Pastor Derek and allowing him to disciple me. And that's what ministry is. We think, it oftentimes we think of ministry as the platform. If you're not one-on-one discipling somebody, you're not ministering. You're not a pastor.
Yeah.
That's what pastoring is. And so I grew up with some of the best leaders in my life. My dad obviously has been in ministry for a very long time, and he knows the ins and outs of ministry, and is one of the best disciplers I know. Pastor Jerry is my uncle. I see him at barbecues that we, like I go to his lake house, many times a year. So it's not like we're distant. But then people like Pastor Derek, no relation to me at all, but just loves me, and really showed that to me very early in ministry. Would, had the strength to reprimand me and not just give me fluff, and did give me opportunities when I didn't deserve opportunities. And so that was a huge benefit to me. And I stayed in that position for a very long time. And then eventually there was transition taking place at our Hartselle campus. And so Pastor Jerry asked me if I would like to take a full-time position as the next gen pastor in the Hartselle campus. And I jumped on that immediately.
Yeah.
It actually was another God thing, because I had already proposed to Emily, and I was making no money as a pastoral assistant. But I was just happy to be here. I never thought about that. I was just happy to be here, and but at that was like perfect timing, because I was going to graduate at that time, and me and Emily were going to get married in about 5 or 6 months after that. So. It just really lined up great. We loved our time there. We miss the people at Hartselle all the time. Every time we go back, it's like it's a happy tears moment, every time we see the people there, because they were like, that's like our first group, like those are the kids and the students and the leaders that cared for us and cherished us. And what we found there is something that we kind of set a standard there that we didn't set it. We were given a standard there that we want to carry wherever we go. And that was that, you know, that group of people, those leaders specifically, they protected us. They loved us, cared for us, and protected us. And you know, we're still young in ministry. I'm still young in ministry, so like all of this is, you know, I still hope to have people protecting me, but like we made mistakes and we were young and we were stupid, but they always, even though they were older than us, you know, we had leaders there that, like I'm thinking about like Brandon Swopes. If anybody's ever met him, one of the most spiritual people on earth. Like truly, I believe that. So spiritual. Just when he talks, I know it's in direct influence of the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
And that was the kind of guy that could have seen a young leader, a young couple like us, and been like, you know, what are they doing here? And we could do this better. Never did I hear that from them. It was always them protecting us. And they would reprimand us, but in a way that was, hey, we want the best for you guys. We want the best for this ministry. We want the best for those kids. This is how we could do this better. And that standard I want to take with me wherever I go. We don't have to look down on anybody because they're young in ministry. We need to give them an opportunity and protect them and set them up for the best. You know, that's what we're called to do. So we love the people there, and we loved the time that we spent there. And then as soon as Pastor Austin came in, he's a young guy from Highlands at the time, we knew that was his ministry.
Yeah.
We just knew, and we didn't want to leave. We loved the people there, you know, but we knew as soon as we saw him interacting with those kids that, you know, we're called somewhere else now. And it's not because we didn't want to be there. Like I said, we loved it there. It was great being there. We loved our time there, but those are Austin's kids now. And so that transition was hard for us, but it was good. And we were given an opportunity to come back and lead at our online campus. And that's what we're doing now.
Yeah.
And that's a ton of fun. I know that's where God wants us to be. We're enjoying it and helping with the creative team. That's always something I've wanted to do. And this has really just been a really good opportunity for us to grow into what we're called to do. And Emily's still helping with the kids, so we get to see the kids all the time. And we, you know, got to help out with Kid Fest this last week, and that's always a good time. But that's another thing too. Pastor Steve is a guy who gave me opportunity early and really invested in us and developed us. And, you know, we would spend weekends at his house, just us and, you know, my friends. And we would, you know, we'd stay there and we'd, you know, watch Stephen Furtick videos and talk about it and talk about hard things. You know, we talk about sex and we talk about marriage and relationships. And it was always good having an older guy who you could do that with, because we, you know, that's just not found anymore.
Right.
And this is a guy who's talking about these things out of experience, and he's done it the right way. You know, that's what I would take from Pastor Steve. I like to think about leaders in a way that I would take, if I could take something from them, what would I take? What's one area of their life I would take something from them? His was his family, because his family is dynamite, you know, like they have fun, they all respect and love each other. They're growing, you know, all of their marriages are so strong. And so anyways, that was just really that's something I would take from him. But that kind of catches us up. That's kind of up to date.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you've worn many hats here.
Yeah.
When you were going through the Daystar College program, weren't you like the student creative?
Yeah.
producer?
So when Pastor Joe was here, like I said, I've always wanted to be in creative in some degree, and I kind of just gave him a vision for what I thought our creative look could be in students, and that's kind of where Flow came out of, and that whole thing. But he was just like, yeah, let's just do that. And he's like, I'm just going to give you the honorary title of student creative director. And so I guess my invoice that I would fill out each week, that still said, I think, pastoral assistant. But to everybody else, I was student creative director. That's what I went with. And, you know, it was that was a fun time in ministry. You know, it's fun when you get to sit under somebody's leadership and you don't take any of the brunt of it. You just get to come up with ideas and have fun. You know, that's what we were doing there.
Yeah, that was, I feel like that was the greatest marketing era for Daystar students so far.
It was fun. I'll say that. We did a lot with it. We just sold out.
Yeah.
And that was birthed out of, I mean, I'm sure you know, but John 10:10, you
Mm-hmm.
know, the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy, but I come to give you life in abundance, life until you would overflow.
Yeah.
And that's the vision we saw for our students,
Mm-hmm.
man. We, you know, the enemy is always going to be attacking,
Yeah.
and it's getting worse and worse, and we all know that. You know, it's no secret. But we can create a place where we can
Mm-hmm.
overflow. We can create a place where kids come in and are truly filled with the Holy Spirit,
Yeah.
and they'll send them out. And so, yeah, we just stuck with that branding, went with flow. I miss it. I thought it was really
Yeah.
fun,
It was awesome. Yeah.
but I love the vision that the student team's going with now, and that's the thing. That's their vision. You know, that was our vision,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and when we all transition, we can't expect them to take our vision and
Right.
run with it. You
Right.
know, they need to have their
Mm-hmm.
vision, and the students are responding to that
Yeah.
because that's their vision, and so it's good. I'm glad they're
Which
doing it.
in the middle of the transition between Pastor Joe and Pastor Braxton, which did take several months.
Right.
So we went several months without an official, I guess, student pastor.
Right.
We took that vision of overflow and we pushed it as far as we could.
Yeah.
We actually grew. I think we went from an average of about 90 to 110
Yeah.
to now we average about 200 to
Yeah.
210. So we more than doubled our
Right.
our numbers because we had the vision
Right.
that you and Pastor Joe put out,
Right.
and we loved it. We
Yeah.
couldn't get enough.
Yeah.
So our vision now is unite, because with all of the growth and the overflow, there began to be some competition between
Right.
our locations, and we didn't really we like a little friendly competition,
Sure.
right? When we have events and
Right.
whatnot, but when it's just like a casual Wednesday,
Right.
we don't want to be like talking smack about our other campuses,
Right.
like we have more people, or we
Right.
have more fun, whatever. We want us to all be the same because
Yeah.
we're the same student group,
Right.
Right, we're all Daystar students, regardless of if you're at Madison, Hartselle, or Coleman. We're all Daystar students, so we've been trying to push the unite.
Yeah. It's like that
vision.
family culture, you know, like I can beat up my brother, but you can't beat up my
Right,
brother.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
That's how we felt.
Right.
So what degree did you graduate with?
I graduated with a ministry leadership and with a business emphasis. And I did that at the time because I figured that, well, when I was talking to Pastor Jerry, he said that one thing that he wished he had had more of in college was business courses.
Yeah.
Because, you know, he's running a business. That's what he's doing.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
He's CEO of Daystar Church. I don't think that's his title, but like basically.
Yeah.
And so I got that degree, took some business classes. I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
But I'm actually getting my master's degree right now.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm about halfway through it, if that. But it's going to be in biblical exposition is the degree, and that's been really fun.
Yeah.
It's like all Bible. Like right now I'm reading a book that's called The Four Views of the Apostle Paul. It's like it's way over my head, bro. But like I'm highlighting everything I understand. You know what I mean? Like not something that I think is. It's just that I understand. Yep,
Yeah,
I understand
I
that
get
part.
that. Uh-huh.
I get that. But it's like four different styles of pastors. Essentially, it's like a Catholic pastor and a Calvinist and Baptist and I can't remember what the other guy is. I'm not to his section yet, but all talking about Paul. It's just crazy, you know. Like it's a fun degree. What drew me into it was that I know I'll be taking Greek and Hebrew, beginner Greek and beginner Hebrew.
Dang, I want to.
Right? But that's really gonna throw me for a loop, I think.
Yeah.
But it's
Where are
gonna
you
be
going?
fun.
Liberty?
Yes, Liberty.
Nice. We've had a couple people go to Liberty.
Yeah.
I think even Pastor Ori is currently or did go to Liberty.
Yeah,
for
I don't know
his
if he's
master's.
graduated yet or not. But
But I know Katie, he's going through Lee to get her master's.
yeah.
I thought about getting my master's, but I don't know what I would get it in.
Yeah, what drew me to Liberty is that they have a lot of degree options, and you can get a master's degree, like the MDiv, the Master's of Divinity is, I can't remember how many hours, but it's almost like double the hours of my degree, and that's why I'm
Wow.
so far along in it. Is
Yeah.
it's not that many hours, so it's a lot of flexibility and a lot of specific, like like this degree is pretty specific. You can get a specific degree like that. So, anyways, it's been fun. I've been enjoying it.
Yeah. So if I were to get my master's in divinity, would it be another 2 or another 4 years?
Well, it depends on how fast you take them. Like I'm taking mine one class a semester, so I'm going really slow with mine.
So if I take 2 classes a semester and summer classes,
I think it would be a 2-year degree
2 year.
at that point. Yeah.
Okay.
Mine's about a 2-year degree, as slow as I'm taking it.
Yeah,
One
yeah.
a semester.
I've gotten used to taking summer classes now.
Yeah.
'Cause that's why I'm graduating with my bachelor's next month.
Right.
Because I've started taking summer classes.
Yeah.
Which it was nice when I took the summers off because I didn't have to worry about anything. It's just work and hang out with my
Right.
friends and stuff. But being able to go ahead and be done with it
Yeah.
and have that degree,
Right.
it's just going to feel great.
Yeah, and what's good about Liberty, what I've found is that, Lee will do 2 semester blocks, right? Liberty does 3.
Oh.
So there's 2, and then there's one that'll overlap both of them. And so you can really frame it. You can do, actually, I take that back. It may be 3, like one in the middle of those other 2. I don't remember, but it's really quick. You get done with your class really quick. I think it's only like 8 weeks, which may be the same as Lee, but you can really frame it in the semester where you want it. So, like, for instance, I knew that Kid Fest was going to be really difficult this year, and I was going to be doing a lot for it, on the creative team and everything. So I just planned it around that 2 months. So, like, whatever you can pick the 2-month frame basically that you're going to take the class. That's been really helpful because you can really schedule it around your other stuff. I felt like at Lee it was kind of like you can get what you get, and you need to finish it out, whatever.
That's
I feel
exactly what it
frame
is.
it around.
And we do 7 weeks per class.
Okay.
And we get a week in between sessions.
Yeah.
Do y'all get a week in between, or is it just?
I don't
from
even
one to
know
the other?
because I've only ever taken one a semester, so I
Right.
don't know the
So
gap.
you don't take one per session. You take one
No,
per semester.
yeah, one
Okay.
semester. Really, because I'm paying for it, and I don't want to juice it up,
Yeah.
hurt my bank account.
Yeah.
But so I don't really know how that works, but I do know there's like a huge, for the way I'm doing it, obviously, because I'm only doing once per semester. There's like a 3-month gap between classes for me because I'm taking one in 2 months, and then I'm waiting for a while, then I'm taking one in 2 months.
Yeah, I didn't really think about that. I'm
Yeah.
kind of afraid to see how much it would cost to do my
Yeah.
master's divinity at Liberty. Because I think I only get like $4,000 a semester in Pell Grants.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much they are per semester. Because I know that I wouldn't get the
4,000 a semester.
Yeah,
That's
so-
what you get.
yeah.
I don't remember exactly either, but that would go a long way.
Would it?
Yeah. Are they counting summer semester too?
Yeah, yeah.
Then yeah, that would go a long way. I would look into it. Yeah.
Because like right now I'm getting the discount through
Right.
Daystar College.
Right.
So my taking those 2 classes per session, 4 classes per semester, it's costing only $3,500 a semester.
Yeah.
So I get a little bit of
Right.
credit, right?
Right.
But I'm already 20 grand in student loan debt,
Yeah.
and I don't particularly want
Yeah.
to add to that.
Right.
It's not necessarily something I
Well,
want to keep racking up.
Depends on who gets the presidency, right?
That's-
So they say.
So they say, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that Trump has been promising that sounds nice,
Right.
but I'm not entirely sure if it's 100% possible.
Yeah.
Like he
Well-
said that there was gonna, instead of being like a 18% tax, like federal tax, he said there's gonna be a flat 5% rate on your income.
Yeah.
So it's like you're bringing home a lot more money per paycheck instead of them taking 20% every
Right.
paycheck. So that sounds nice.
Yeah.
Which I'm not sure if we even, like, I'm on contract on 1099, so I don't really pay taxes anyways. So I have to kind of save a little bit
Right.
on the side so I can pay at the end of the year. You were on contract for a while,
Hmm.
right? When was your what was your first on staff position?
It was the next gym pastor at Hartsel.
Okay.
So that was in like
Hmm.
2022. It was like December of 2021 or 2022. I can't remember, but one of those. Yeah, because it was about to go into the new year.
You you hadn't graduated yet, did you?
Well, I graduated at the same time that I came on. So in
Okay.
December, I graduated and
I think that would have
came
been
on.
2022.
Yeah, one of
Because
them.
I started in August of 2021, and we were still going to
No,
school
it
together.
was 2021
Was it?
because I hadn't married Emily yet.
Yes. Yeah, I
I
remember
married
now.
her in September
Hmm.
of
So
2022.
you were just there for a long time.
Almost 2 years.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Um, that was a dark time in my life because I didn't have Jaren around a lot.
Yeah. I
uh,
felt distant from everyone. But the thing was, like, we lived in Coleman. We
right.
never moved to Hartselle.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Because
but
Hartsville's not that far.
right. And we thought that if we felt like we were going to be there long term, we would have. But we felt like this was a transition period.
Mm-hmm.
But
Because I mean, it, sorry, your position was like interim, right?
yeah, that's what it
So
was. That's what it was expressed to me as. It didn't feel that way because we were there for so long.
yeah.
But I mean, we were there. We were
Hmm.
bought in. But yeah, so we never moved away. But just going up there every day for work made me feel like I never saw anybody here anymore.
Yeah.
And Sundays,
Hmm.
you never think about that, but Sundays is when I see most everybody.
Right.
Didn't see anybody because we're up in Hartselle. Which I mean, we had people up there we saw obviously,
Hmm.
but yeah, it was different.
So when he was in students, okay, I started towards his. I think it was your last semester, right? I started my first semester was your last.
Yeah, maybe.
Um, and so he was in student practicum, so I started in the student practicum. I didn't know what else to do. Like
Mm,
nothing else interested me. They didn't have the pastoral practicum at the time, so I started with him, and so I served alongside him a lot. And he was doing so every service we have a welcome, right? If you ever been to church ever, you
mm,
know that every service starts with a welcome, and then like you have announcements and whatnot if there's anything happening. And he would do that. He would do the welcome every time, and then sometimes he'd even get there and preach. Often, actually, he did that pretty often on
yeah.
Wednesday nights. He would always get up there with his little laptop on the table. It was a great vibe. Every time I got on the stage, or sorry, on the platform, and wore a hat, production yelled at me.
Mm.
But he wore a hat every time. Like he did not care. He was like, "I'm wearing my hats." You can see he's got a great hat game.
Oh, thank you.
So he was not about to hear that. He was getting up
Yeah.
there with his hat.
Well, I don't like fixing my hair. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So hats help me to not do
Right.
that.
And you had decently long hair back then.
Yeah. For
He
a
was
while.
growing it out quite a bit, and it was a nice flow.
Well, thank you.
But when he left, immediately the following service, I jumped in to do my first welcome. Okay, I'd never been on platform before. Super nervous. I was still getting out of my shell. Um, Completely different than what I am right now. I could not have a
Yeah.
conversation with people. Um, so I got up there, and I was like, guys, I was like, sad, like announcement. Pastor Jaron has gone to. We even referred to you as Pastor Jaron, even though
Yeah.
you technically weren't a
Yeah. At that
pastor.
point, I wasn't.
So what I said, Pastor Jaron has gone to be the next gym pastor at our Hartsel campus. So sorry about it. You're stuck with me now.
Yeah.
and and I expected some like boos and stuff like because we missed you already.
Right.
But they cheered and they were like, "Hey,
Yeah.
we're glad you're here." And I was like, "Okay, now I don't know what to say because
Right.
I wasn't expecting that reaction."
Yeah.
So I just went back. I just went into it. I
Yeah.
was not a whole lot of energy compared to how you used to do it because
Yeah.
I was just like pacing slowly and
Right.
in a little deep monotone voice like this and like this is what's going on. We're having this later, whatever. Because like I said, I had not done anything like that
Right.
in a very very long time. So I didn't know what to expect.
Right.
And what I didn't expect was to get up there and to only be able to see the front row.
Right.
Like those lights were blinding.
Yeah.
Um, and they were really hot, so
Yep.
it started to sweat pretty quickly.
Yep. That's why I'll almost always wear two layers
Mm-hmm.
when I speak is because I know I'm going to sweat regardless. I'm
Right.
not, you can't avoid that. So
Mm-hmm.
if I'm going to sweat,
Yeah.
it's not going to get to my second layer.
Exactly. Exactly. Even if the AC is bumping,
Right.
like those lights are gonna cook you
Right.
up there.
Yeah.
So be prepared. And I always wore a hoodie when I went up there.
Mm,
So thankfully I didn't do it on purpose, but I was
protected.
subconsciously prepared,
Covered.
covered.
Yep.
But it was a great transition.
Mm-hmm.
It really helped me personally. I'm sure Jaron can attest the amount of differences there are between my first semester and now
Yeah.
my final semester,
Right.
just in how I carry myself
Yeah.
and the way that I can talk to people now
Yeah. Absolutely.
is like night and day.
Right.
And sometimes I have to remind myself of that when I wonder if I've done things right while I've been
Mm-hmm.
here, if I've been able to steward my teachings and my like what people have taught me and the friends that have tried to bring me out. Like when I first started, I would decline invitations to go out with y'all when y'all went
Mm-hmm.
to. I don't know if you went with them, but or maybe you'd already graduated by this time. But I got a phone call from Cassidy,
Mm-hmm.
Kel Wilson's wife, not wife at the time.
Yeah.
uh, they'd all gone to Top Golf and ate and had a great time, and I didn't go. I didn't show up, and I got a phone call, and they were like, "Where are you?" I said, "I'm at home," like an
Yeah.
hour away from where
Right.
they were, and they're like, "Why didn't you come?" And I was like, "I just didn't feel like I could bring a whole lot to the table. It might be awkward and stuff."
Right.
And she was like, "That's stupid."
Yeah.
She was like, "We wanted you here."
She'll tell
So
you what she feels, man.
yeah, yeah. So that was the first phone call that made me think, maybe I'm more than what I've been told in the past.
Right.
So at the time, I'm coming out of a terrible relationship
Mm-hmm.
of just abuse and shame, body shaming, personality shaming, decision shaming,
Yeah.
hobby shaming, just every sort of shame that could be put on somebody.
Yeah.
That's what I'm coming out of.
Yeah.
So in my mind, I'm like, I'm not interesting. Nobody really would like to have me around.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know how to be around people. I
Right.
only knew how to be online. So
Yeah.
at the time, I was still streaming on Twitch, which I know is out of character in the way that I'm speaking about myself or how I was.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm not in front of you, I'm okay to talk to you, right?
Right.
At least that's how it was back then. Now it's
Right.
both. I
Right.
can have conversations with you and with random people. Like the other day, I was at Karma's and I was wearing a Spirit-filled shirt,
Mm-hmm.
and this random lady was like, "Hey, I love your shirt," and I was expecting to be like, "Thank you, really appreciate that," and then like that be the end.
Right.
But she kept on. She was like, "It's really great. You don't really see that often," and I told her I got it from here,
Mm-hmm.
and then that just sparked a conversation. We talked for the next 30 minutes about ministry and about
Right.
students and how her and her husband have 7 kids
Wow.
and they kind of pastor them because
Yeah.
pastoring is just loving people
Right.
and all that. So in back in the day, I'd have been like super shy.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't have even had the conversation. She would have stopped the conversation because of how awkward I was.
Right.
I wouldn't have had to do anything but be me, right? So,
Right.
anyways, all that being said, I owe a lot to Jaron for
Moving away.
not just moving away. Good Lord, the encouragement that he gave me when because I asked you so many questions when I was jumping into the position that
Right.
you were in, and he talked me through things, through questions and concerns that I may have had,
Mm-hmm.
and just seeing how you did it, going back and watching how you did things, it helped a lot. Just
Right.
because you carried yourself great up there, which I know is
I appreciate that.
probably because of how much experience that you had
Oh yeah.
and how many
It's all
people
time
you've
put
had.
in, man. Like
Mhm.
if you could see my first message, which I'll just say it. I think it's on YouTube somewhere.
Yeah.
If you looked it up, you would find it. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's all experience. My first message, terrible in my opinion. But the more you do something, that's one thing my dad taught me in ministry. He said that he would never say no to a speaking opportunity. Didn't matter where it was, who it was for, if it was going to be last minute or anything. He would never say no, because it's all reps. You're getting reps every single time. You're learning something. You
Yeah.
could get up there and absolutely bomb, do terrible, and you've learned something.
Yeah.
And you've done it better the next time. So it's all repetition, man. It's all repetition.
Yeah, that's proven to be true.
Yeah.
So something that I love so much that I wish we could do more of, and I've talked to you about this more than one time. The videos that you used to do on Daystar Students
Yeah.
YouTube are golden.
Yeah.
What I'm gonna do is I'm going to link the Daystar Students YouTube in the description,
Yeah.
and I want you to go back to all the old videos. If you'll see a younger version of him on there,
Yeah.
and it's like ASMR stuff. They've got some trick shot videos that are hilarious. They're all great videos. None of them are like, I didn't cringe at any of them. I thought they were amazing.
I'm
I
glad
want
you
to go
did.
back and watch.
I don't know
those.
if I went back and watched them. I don't know if I'd cringe or not, but just because it's myself, I think. But
Right.
that was like all during COVID, so we
Yeah.
were forced to get creative during that time. You know, like I was talking. This was when Joe was down at City Hope in South Alabama, and I was like, "What are you guys doing to keep engagement?" You know, because all these students, you know, we're losing them. We're losing them to Fortnite, you know, like we can't get them to do anything.
Yeah.
And so we just did whatever we could to try to get people engaged. We used to do live videos on Instagram during that time where one time we played, it was like me and the other student pastors. I wasn't a student pastor, but
Yeah.
the team that was there, we played bang pong.
Bang pong.
And it's like, you know, Pong, but with Bang,
Yeah.
the energy drink.
Yeah.
And it had just come out at that time. None of
Right.
us realized how awful this crap is for you. And 300 milligrams in one can. And it's like 6 o'clock in the afternoon that we're playing this. Down in bangs, man. And so none of us sleep for like the rest of the night. And just anything to just keep students involved.
That's amazing.
Me and Emily played Bean Boozled.
Oh.
We have that one saved somewhere. And that was awful. But it was like trivia question Bean Boozled. So it was like, I don't know, we'd ask each other about like Friends trivia or The Office trivia or whatever. And so whatever we could do to get people
That's
involved.
awesome. We need more of that.
Right.
Right now we're doing a lot of posts about midweek and like midweek recaps and we're making some funny midweek invitation videos.
Yeah.
But we need some more organic stuff like that,
Right.
just interaction things
Right.
that don't have anything to do with inviting people, don't have anything to do with getting people in the door.
Right.
Just, hey, we're people too, and we want to have fun with you guys.
Right.
You know, that I feel like that'd be awesome. All of our pastors have so much on their plate right now, so I'm not expecting them to do anything. But it's also difficult to convince them or to pitch the idea to let me or another volunteer kind of take over that.
Right.
Because there are some, like, we have such a high level of excellence that sometimes these like less important, I guess, videos can be seen as not so excellent by some people, not all
Right.
people, right? Some people love it, some people are like, maybe not, maybe that's not really the vision that we're going for.
Right.
So it's hard to because I don't just have to pitch it to Braxton or to Pastor Steve. They've got to pitch it to like executive pastors.
Right.
So we've got to get more than just a few people on board.
Right.
Because we're not just representing us. We're not just representing the Daystar students. We're representing the church
Right.
as well. So even PJ's got to be on board with that. I'm sure he has something to do with that. Maybe not, because I don't know everything PJ
Right.
does. It's probably way more than I could handle.
Oh, yeah.
But,
Right.
so I don't know what he looks at or what he just lets other people do.
Yeah,
So-
our mentality at that time, really past COVID, like when Pastor Joe came on, our mentality, I feel like this was something that, this was an idea I had. I don't know if it was God, maybe it was just my own idea. I don't know, but the thought was that our students are doing things all the time, no matter what. You're not going to be able to stop them from doing whatever. And they're not even bad things necessarily. They're always doing things though. So watching people's live streams, watching people play video games, you know what I mean? They're always on the internet. So my idea was like, well, let's offer them a safe space to do those things you know, because they're already doing them. Why not do them with us?
Right.
You know, that was kind of our thought,
Mm-hmm.
because we know we're going to promote Jesus to them, and we're going to keep them protected. We're going to have them, you know, a safe space for them, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why we started live streaming video games at that time and trying to make videos like that, just fun videos for them to watch. We tried to, essentially what we did is we tried to like recreate Dude Perfect video style videos, you know,
Yeah.
because they're watching Dude Perfect, which is
Right.
fine. I'm not saying that's a bad
Right.
thing, but
Yeah.
why can't they watch us,
Mm-hmm.
and we are going to promote Jesus to them as we're doing it or whatever, and they're going to be able to connect with us. That was kind of the idea. And I don't know where that landed. I don't know, because obviously we're not doing a lot of that anymore,
Yeah.
but at the time that was kind of the
Mm-hmm.
idea. And I think if I was in that position again, I would still try to recreate that.
Yeah.
You know, they're doing these things, why not do it with us, you know? And that's why I've always wanted to, like, open a gym here, you know, a basketball court,
be so
because
cool.
our students are playing basketball why not play basketball here,
Right.
you know?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Why not hang out here? Why
Mm-hmm.
not have this place as the place where they go, you
Mm-hmm.
know? I know when I was growing up, the youth ministry was like everything to me, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like I would hang out here. I would, throughout the week, I would come here and, do work here, like homework here, whatever, you know,
Yeah.
the youth ministry and the student team, they were my friends and everything. And so that's what we wanted to try to recreate. I think that's what students are asking for and
Mm-hmm.
longing for, is a place, you know, a physical place, but also a community
Mm-hmm.
that they belong to, and that's their family and their
Yeah.
friends. And so that's what we tried to do. But I think they want it.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been trying to push the idea of uh, getting a pickleball court here.
Right.
And I ran the numbers,
Yeah.
and if we want to create another area for that, because obviously all of our parking lots are slanted.
Yeah.
So the only flat concrete we have is out front on the patio.
Yeah.
So we can't have a permanent place on the
Right.
in front of the front door, right?
Right.
So we'd have to pour a new concrete pad. So I looked. I got a quote from one place. I'm sure I could go to other places and maybe
Right.
find it cheaper. But to get a pad big enough for a court, just one court, is somewhere between $15,000 and $18,000.
Concrete is insane.
Yeah.
Man. It's nuts.
And then I talked to a company about coming out here to paint with the grippy paint and
Yeah.
stuff that pickleball courts have,
Right.
and to get the net.
Right.
And they also offered lights and containment netting.
Wow.
But I was like, we don't
Yeah,
need
no.
that. I just want the bare minimum.
Right.
Right. We can
we
handle.
use the sunlight.
Yeah. We can handle going to run and get the ball. It's
Right.
no big deal.
Right.
And they wanted another 18,000 to do the painting. Like, they were like, we can give you the materials,
Yeah.
and y'all can do it, and it'll be cheaper. It was just $5,000 for their labor. I was like, excuse me?
Nah, bro.
But that's still about 10 grand for all the materials and
Right.
stuff.
You know, my dad built a court at our house. Did you know that?
I knew that there was a court at y'all's house. I
Yeah.
didn't know that y'all did it.
Well, the concrete was already, it's just in our driveway.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, we got to move the cars well, when we park on the side, we don't have to.
Right.
But,
I've never even been to y'all's house.
well, we got to come play. Like,
Yeah.
I got to get Drew over there. Braxton wants to come. So we'll set up a day. But, yeah, we did it all ourselves.
Sorry, guys, it happened again. I'm going to have to figure that out. I think Jaron just helped me figure that out, though.
Yeah,
So
we'll see.
we'll see. I didn't fix it yet because I don't know how to fix it, but like I know what to do. You know what I mean?
They get it.
Yeah, you get it. So we were talking about pickleball. And
Yeah, so we at my parents' house, we did it all ourselves, as far as the painting and the measuring and that kind of stuff. We already had the concrete laid, and it's almost perfect. There's a little, in one corner, it's a little bit slanted. Like, we haven't really noticed it yet, but I bet you could get some wicked spin off that corner.
yeah.
But anyways, the measuring took forever. The painting wasn't that bad, but we used that like grip paint.
Yeah.
So it's nice. I mean,
Where do you get the grip paint?
I have no idea. My dad probably got it from Lowe's, I would imagine, because they sell it like court paint. You know, like that's what it's for.
Yeah.
So I don't know where he got it from.
So we could do that here for a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
If we can find a spot that everyone's okay with us putting it
Dude,
there.
I think that spot right by the parking lot that's mulch now, or it's got park benches. It's grass, but it has
Yeah,
park benches.
yeah.
Get that out of here. Get a pickleball court in here. I think that's a perfect spot.
I think
for
that'd be
it.
a great spot. That's where I was looking to
Yeah.
get the concrete poured
Yeah.
for $18,000. The court needs to be, I think, 30 by 60. So I was going to
Yeah.
get a pad that was 35 by 65.
Right.
So it would have a little bit more. So we're not just stepping on the edge and breaking
Right.
ankles, right?
Right.
But I don't need 10 or 20 feet on each side. So
Yeah.
it's the smallest possible, right? Still
Right.
like 18 grand. I was like,
Yeah, it's
dadgummit.
no
That's
joke.
crazy.
It's no joke.
So, with all that being said, and talking about your journey through several different positions in ministry and school and all that mess, what is God teaching you, and like kind of what is God bringing you through, or the vision He's giving you
Yeah.
right now?
I was hoping you asked me that. 'Cause
Hey,
I brought my Bible.
Nice.
But part of the position I'm in is with the creative team, and this year me and Emily decided we're going to do the 1 year Bible, and we are behind. I'll say that, but
It's hard to keep up with.
it is. We're in Joshua, and it's already in July, so we're really behind. But regardless, we've been reading the Bible together, which has been really good.
Right.
But somewhere in, I believe, I'm gonna try to find it because I had a lot of notes on it. But in Exodus, yeah. So let me find it because I want to read it to you. But when Jesus is, or when God is talking to the Israelites about building the ark and, the tabernacle and given all the instruction, something just really hit me. And this is like this might have been even up into Leviticus, but no, it's right before Leviticus. But yeah, here it is. Yeah, sorry, I'm reminding myself as I'm reading through
So
this.
good.
So when God is given all the instruction for the tabernacle and the ark and everything, and it stood out to me how specific He was. He was given to the centimeter how long to make these things and what they're to look like, and what to put on them, what kind of gold to use, whatever. Just to the T, how wide the tabernacle space is supposed to be, where the ark is supposed to sit, how these angels are supposed to look on top of the ark and everything. But there was one thing that, well, I'll go before that. The person that He commissioned to do this, I can't even remember his name, Bezalel.
Okay.
Yeah,
Bezalel.
Bezalel. This is the first person in the Bible to have the Holy Spirit come on him.
Oh.
And his mission is to create the Ark of the Covenant, and he's kind of overseeing it, right? And as a guy who's kind of newly into a creative team, this just like this, I felt like this was just God talking to
Yeah.
me. You know what I mean? Because the very first person to have the Holy Spirit put on him was an artist, and I mean that was just so cool to me.
Yeah.
And he was given the mission of creating the Ark of the Covenant, the space that God would reside. Like the tabernacle, the holy room that God would sit in. This was his mission. And He would tell him to the T, this is what you're supposed to do, and this is how big you're supposed to make it. But there was one spot in this whole process where God says, essentially, I want you to put angels on the cherubim on the side, on the curtains of the tabernacle, and I want you to do it creatively. That's what He says. And I was like, if this was me, and I'm like, I am sweating bullets trying to write down all the instructions that God is, and make it exactly this long, and use this kind of inlay, and this is the color of the woven material that we're trying to get through it, and this is the space God is going to reside. So man, I got to get this right, and I'm writing everything down, and the Holy Spirit's on me, so it's like it's incredible. And then He's like, and then just work in those cherubim, whatever looks nice to you. I'd be like, Hold on, go back.
Wait.
Tell me again exactly. Just whatever looks good to you, Bezalel. And I'm thinking to myself, God chose this man, and whatever looked good to him, that's what he wanted.
That's crazy.
Like he allowed him to use his creative ability and use his artistic talent.
Yeah.
And for the ends of time, the Ark of the Covenant, the place that God resides, it's going to have Bezalel's stamp on it.
That is
because God wanted him to take part in the process, you know? That to me wrecked me.
Yeah.
You know, and it shows me how much God, it's such a little thing, but it shows me how much God cares about my opinion.
Yeah.
And is it going to be right all the time? No, that's why he gives us the structure.
Yeah.
And he gave us the exact specifications. But he allows us to take part in things. You know, I was like, when we're making those stupid videos and we're making literally Daystar students ASMR, you know what I mean? Like, do I think God cares about whether or not we did an ASMR video or a trick shot video? No, I don't think he cares. I think he was excited because we were excited, you know?
That's incredible.
And you know, this we're all creatives in some degree, not necessarily as in like whether we're artists or not artistic.
Right.
We're all God, because God was a creator, and because God created, we're creatives and we create. And you know, you don't have to be on a creative team or sit at a computer and do graphic design or whatever to be a creative. But you are called to create, whether that's creating a home or, you know, creating a business or you know, creating a work environment that's friendly, maybe, you know, whatever it is. We're called to be creatives, and God looks at us and says, what do you think? You know, I gave you the skills. I gave you the talent. I gave you the Holy Spirit. Now you tell me what you think would look good, you know?
Wow.
That's been wrecking me recently.
That is incredible.
There's a lot I could talk about in here, but that's kind of the main thing.
Yeah.
I wrote a message, and then I got sick right before I was supposed to give it. So it's still in the chamber.
Yeah.
But it was called Burn It to the Ground.
Nice.
And it was about, you know, there's a contrast between this story with Bezalel and I hope that's the right person, but you get the idea. The person who made the Ark of the Covenant.
Yeah.
But there's a contrast between his story and the story of Aaron, the high priest, right? The guy that God chose. But when Moses went up to the mountain and was gone for like 40 days, I think it was, and so the people who were left behind, everybody else, they were freaking out. You know, where's Moses? He's left us. Let's do our own thing. You know, so let's make a golden calf. This is the God that that brought us out of Egypt. And they even called this golden calf Yahweh. Like they thought that was God. You know, they don't use Yahweh for anybody but the holy living God. So in their minds, this golden calf was Yahweh, right? Obviously it wasn't, but Aaron was the guy who kind of, the people came to him and he was like, okay, we'll do it. You know, he didn't lead it, but he didn't stop it.
Right.
And they came down, Moses came down the hill, saw the golden calf, burned it to the ground, put it in their drinking water and made them drink it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And God was like, I approve.
Nice.
And there's a contrast between Bezalel's story and Aaron's story in this moment. Aaron eventually ended up having a good career with God.
Yeah.
But in this time, because they were both creating.
Yeah.
And Bezalel created something, and Aaron created a beautiful calf. Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Massive. Gold.
Yeah.
Right? Beautiful. So beautiful they thought it was God in the flesh, right? This must be God. The difference was Aaron was creating for his own approval. He created because that's what the people wanted. Bezalel created because that's what God told him to do. And he did it because that's the thing God commissioned him to create. And we, as creatives, we have the opportunity. We can create for ourselves or we can create for God. And every time we create for ourselves, it's going to end up with us having to eat our own crap.
That's awesome.
But when we create for God, not only do we create something that's going to last eternally, but we get to put our piece into it.
Right.
And we get to put our heart into it and our vision and our creative ability, you know? And so sometimes you got to burn things to the ground, you know? If it doesn't fit the culture that God put on you, the creative design God put on you, and if it's for yourself, burn it up.
Burn it
Get
up.
it out of here, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That
it's
is
getting me fired up.
That's encouraging.
Right.
And I cannot wait to hear you preach that message.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm excited for it. I still got it in the chamber, man.
Yeah. God, I don't care where you're preaching that. I'm going to it.
I'll try to record it. I'll send it to you.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming on to the podcast. I know it's early Saturday morning.
I love it. Nothing I'd rather do.
And it's raining outside quite a bit.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
But I really appreciate you coming out.
Absolutely, man.
And I've had a great time. That was I think that was an awesome episode. This one was going to be, I think, one of my better ones.
I appreciate that.
I'm so glad that I started having people on. Because
Right.
the ones with just me, they're like 20 minutes long a piece. Some of them are 12. Like I just couldn't get into it.
Right.
You know, it was something that I had to. If you notice, some of them there's like weeks in between them because I just didn't have the creative mind at the time to be like, this is what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about it for an hour. Couldn't do it, or even 30 minutes. Couldn't do it. But you being willing to come up here, I don't make any money from this.
Right.
A lot of podcasts, they pay their guests.
Right.
I can't pay you to be here.
Wouldn't take it if you could, man.
You being
Wouldn't
willing to
take
come
it.
out here without that is incredible, and I really appreciate it.
No, it's an honor, man. I enjoyed it. I always look forward to your new episodes, so I appreciate it, man.
Well, guys, if you're on YouTube and you're watching, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell icon, make sure all notifications are turned on. If you're on Spotify, this is audio only, video exclusive on YouTube. So if you want to watch us goof around like that, then go over to YouTube. But if you're on Spotify and you don't want to go over there, make sure you hit that follow button and keep us on your playlist so that you notice when I post another video. In the description in both, there is all of my streaming platforms. I post regular videos as well, not just streaming on YouTube. I have discounts for merch. I have social medias and stuff like that. So go check all those out. And the Daystar Students YouTube.
Yes.
To look at all those amazing old videos
Check it out.
from COVID. Great time. Do you want me to link any of your stuff or?
I ain't got nothing to link, man. I mean, you can go to my Instagram or something, JARON TP. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I haven't even posted on there for a while. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Daystar Church. Just follow that one.
Yeah, there we go. That's the thing about us here. I'm not interviewing like big influencers or nothing. These are regular people that just have a heart for God and that are serving in the church. So that's the reason why I haven't said, hey, go follow them so and so.
Yeah.
Because they're just people, man.
Right.
They're not trying to be rich and famous. Right. So there's just nothing for me to link. And I'm sure some of them might be offended if I asked them. So yeah, thank you guys for coming by and watching, and I'll see y'all in the next episode. Peace out.